One of the first questions I was asked was about time. And that's a really fun topic. And I really would like to talk about that elaborately. But the reason why I didn't really answer it for a long time is because I didn't really feel that it was that relevant. The only thing that's relevant is that you understand that you need to face your own life. And it doesn't, like, time is just like as soon as you face your own life, you no longer, the past, the future, anything you thought of yourself no longer exists. So you automatically live free from time. So all ideas are always based in time. So that's why I sort of not ignored it, but I felt like it's important to tell you that you need to face yourself, and then I'm out. I don't think I should elaborate on time. However, I'm gonna do what I always do and just tell you how I faced the issue of time via Krishnamurti. So I came from a scientific background, so I studied chemistry, and to me science was pretty much, when I look back now, I would say I believed in science and nothing else. So time is an integral part in most of your calculations in physics, chemistry, etc. So to me, time was a real constant thing, something that's measurable, something that's a fact. That was for me clear. So when Krishnamurti was speaking about there is no time, I said, like, I didn't understand. That's, like, to me, just went, that's nonsense, because I've measured it, I've used it to do calculations. I don't understand what he's talking about. And then I sort of listened to him deeper, because everything he said made sense. So he wasn't talking about time as I was talking about scientific measurement of time. He was speaking of time as in how we perceive time. So at that time, when I was listening to this, to me it was very clear. I've had this past that is affecting me now in the present heavily, very, very heavily. And now, due to my past and this present, my future is bleak. And to me, this was all real. So I never considered this to be an idea. And I think Krishnamurti said something about, but it's not even real, or that's how I probably paraphrased it, because that doesn't sound like Krishnamurti. But he said something, but this is not based in fact. Your past is not based in fact. And that was the crowning, most important moment, because I looked at my past and I said, but like, I did get beaten by my mom, I did have this happen, I did get molested. And how can he say to me that that's not real, that's not. And then I looked at it closer and I went, so maybe, let's say from a more literary angle, I just saw it as, okay, so this is my book, this is my story of my book. And it's the story of my book is only from my point of view. Obviously there were other people in the whole dilemma that see my story differently. So just because I see my story in this certain particular way doesn't mean that that's reality. That just means that that's my bias, my personal view of my past. Doesn't make it real, doesn't make it fact. It's done now anyway. And anyway, who knows how accurate my memory actually is? Who knows if these things really happened the way that they did? Who knows how many things I actually misunderstood? Or, so all my past that I had, that I was so tormented by, suddenly was shown in this different light. And as soon as I could like sort of personally distance myself from it and go like, okay, so this is just something that happened. And now I'm just a human being that still thinking about this thing that's happened, but it's actually not real. I don't even know if I remember correctly. So what's the point in me dragging this on? And that was a very pivotal point. So from that point on, I completely understood how necessary it is to live in the present moment. So I'm pretty sure this wasn't like the moment of insight or anything. I just specifically remember this understanding about my past, that my past isn't actually real. Like it really happened. Like there's facts, there's scars, there's there's certain ways that I am that are a reflex from my past, like my humor, my favorite reflex. So, like, I learned that my scary mother would calm down if I could make her laugh. So I developed humor. So, there's good and there's a bad. So there's, like, it's, like, I'm not saying that I pretend like the past never happened, but I've dealt with it as best I can. I can't get any more information. Like, it's happened, there's no more information. Thinking about it doesn't help me, it just makes it worse. And being able to set that past aside. But that then, the complete freedom from that came with ego death, for sure. Like, that was a separate process. That was a separate insight. It was just as impactful, but like, the ego death part was when I could actually free myself from my past, or what I thought of my past, really. Because, like, the events happened, that's real, that's fact. But me dragging it on and having certain emotional attachment to the past, or resentment, hate, whatever, all of that is extra energy that I'm free of now, thank God. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, it's not about gaining a higher ground. It's not about becoming something greater and higher and holy. I always have to laugh because the most obvious visual representation that I can ever think of is when I was a very young child, I loved Indiana Jones. So to all younger viewers, I think it was late 80s movie. And there's just one scene in, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they're looking for the Jesus' chalice. And there's 3 chalices of choice. And there's one with all the gold ornaments, and I think a metal one, and one very humble wooden chalice. And the bad guy goes up to the one with the ornaments and went, yeah, this is what all the churches look like. That must be Jesus' chalice. And he drinks from it and dies, obviously. And Indiana Jones, the hero, goes to the wooden, humble chalice and said, no, Jesus was a humble man. Like, what the church is made out of him is not Jesus. Jesus was humble. He would have had a wooden, humble chalice. And this is exactly what this is about. It's not about the gold, the fame, the greater, holier than thou, whatever, wokeness. This is about you settling down, you accepting your life as it has happened, facing it, stop running from your fears, and letting go of all the past trauma and freeing yourself from it. And then you get to experience your life with fresh eyes every day, and you get to experience the beauty that is in your life right now, but you can't see it because your ego is just bitching and bitching. So, as always, all you need to do is face yourself. Stop running from your fears. And then you can live in the present moment. Like there's no all the ideas of future, past, all the ideas of psychological time don't make any sense. It's all the same. And then you can enjoy life on the other side as well. And the freedom and the love, like, I don't talk about the other side too much, but like, you don't even understand, like, you just watch two kids and then the smile on one kid's face like warms your heart so much because you're completely open and free to receive everything in your life right now. That's why even though my brain's melting, I'm happy as hell. And I'm enjoying every day. It's phenomenal. And if there are any questions, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. One love.